dreams, it's still the same. Your love is strong, it still remains.
About it. Just piping. Yeah, so this video is going to be sort of a hangout, I guess. I don't know how long it's going to be, but this is regarding the phone call that I alluded to in my other video. So hope you're all doing well and hope you're having a great weekend. Right now, for me, it's late Saturday night. Well, more accurate would be early Sunday morning. Throughout this video, I'll edit out long pauses if I'm trying to think of something, recall something. And there's 2 flies in here. I think I got one, but the other one is still pestering me. So if you see random cuts, it's because I'm trying to swat a fly. Yeah. He's bothering me and I hate it. Yeah. So what am I going to be smoking? And I got the window open because it is warm in here. But I don't want to sit outside because the bugs are outside. So, but I want to record this because I don't know if I'll get a chance this week to make another video. There's that damn fly. All right, I think I got him. I'll be smoking Barling. This is my the Craigie Root pot. Montague, yeah. 1813 Barling. I just literally sat down, so I'm getting set up here, and we'll, did I show you this? I'm so impressed with Barling's stems, 9mm filter stems. It's got like a click. It's the filter, it doesn't, like a lot of pipes, it's real loose, and, you put it in there, and it'll fall out if you shake it. This one, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, really digging the Barlings for sure. Yeah. So what am I going to be smoking? It's a special day. Yeah. So I mentioned Saturday. Today would have been the day that something special would have happened to me in my life. As a result of that phone call. So I'm smoking tobacco I have little of, but love it. This is all I have left of Gawith Hogarth Dark Bird's Eye. Yeah, Dark Bird's Eye. Some of what's in here I got from Ed. Is it last year or the year before last? Ed Hobbs. Yeah. Yeah. It's almost a full jar, but that's all I got. Yeah. They don't make it anymore. Did you get a good look at it? It's like, a shag type cut, thin ribbon shag type cut. Similar to Kendall Dark vintage cut. Yeah. Comes like you get like the bird's nest situation going on. Yeah. So yeah, I woke up today, got ready and headed out, and The phone call, okay, let's start at the phone call. The phone call I got last Sunday, remember I was telling you, just out of the blue, was from my uncle. Yeah, my Uncle Tim. We'll call him Tim because that's his name. Yeah, Uncle Tim. Well, it wasn't actually a phone call. That's not 100% accurate. It was a text. It's in your way. Here, this is the text I got. And then after I received this text, I called him right away. Yeah. And yeah, we got to talking a little bit on the phone. The charlight's fantastic on this bird's eye too. The whole bowl's fantastic. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my Uncle Tim or our relationship, or so you can kind of understand better as I get into the story. Okay. So my Uncle Tim is not quite a decade older than me. I think he's like 8 years older than me. So yeah, dark bird's eye is fantastic. Yeah, so I'm a little boy, okay? I'm like 8 years old. And, well, I'm trying to structure this in chronological order. So anyways, I'm a little guy, right? And he's older than me. And I go over to visit Grandpa and see my Uncle Tim. And I would always pay attention to what he was doing. Like he to me was the cool guy, very influential in kind of shaping some of my personality and future life interests and things like that. He always had the cool toys, when we were little. Like I say, he's almost a decade older than me. He always had the cool toys, the cool models, like, putting together models with tester paint and glue and all that kind of stuff. He listened to cool music. Yeah. Had cool cars. Yeah. Stuff like that. He was cool. I thought he was cool. And I really, we didn't really have a relationship, so to speak, because, he was older and you don't want a little runt like me running around, tagging along and stuff like that. And I caught on pretty early that, a lot of the times I was in the way, I'm just a little kid, but it didn't change the fact that he was cool and I really liked him. Yeah. So, so that's kind of how it went. And we didn't go over there a lot, but when we did, it was an event. In my mind, it was an event, So, so that's kind of how it was, we weren't super close. We didn't have a, really close relationship. He probably never even knew that I was watching him or, how I felt about him. Okay. And sometime, like my parents get divorced. After some time, my parents get divorced and it's a different dynamic. The family dynamic is different. I see him even less now because I only go over there, on my dad's side when my dad would take us. But my mom and dad didn't live together and things like that. So, so there has never really been established a really tight relationship. Okay. But when I would see him through all these years, I would see him. I mean, in the past 25 years, I think I've seen him 3 times. Yeah, maybe 3 or 4 times. And it was usually at family events that had something to do with either, some type of celebration or, unfortunately, funerals, right? And we would talk a little bit and, kind of catch up as much as you can with a short conversation and things like that. But I would always, tell him how much I watched him and how much he influenced me and how much I enjoyed, I was in love with something that he owned, okay? And this is, like I said, the last 25 years. Now, going back a little bit, my dad would take me to, he used to race motocross. So on the weekends, on occasion, I don't think it was that often, but I remember doing it because I really, really loved it. And that's what I mean by how I looked up to him. He was into the things that were appealing to me. So we would go to the racetrack and, you smell that 2-stroke motocross and stuff. Oh, and I should say, because there's a varied age, of my audience that's probably watching this, everybody's different age and things like that. Now, you have to keep in mind, this is all taking place in the 70s and 80s, okay? So I'm growing up in the 70s and 80s type of culture, car culture, motorcycles, things like that.
I music, forget the day, and dream of a girl I used to know. I close my eyes and she slipped away. Slipped
And my Uncle Tim is really molding me into appreciating certain things in life and their vehicles and, motorsports, things like that. Model building, all that kind of stuff. So, okay. So I think that kind of establishes the type of relationship we had. Not super close, right? Okay. So we're adults. I start a family relatively young. Everybody's busy. He's got his life. I got my life. My dad's doing his thing. Everybody's divorced. People are dying and things like that. So we don't really talk much at all, like I said. So then I get that text and I'm like, wow. Now, he's not even, this is how much we don't talk. I got that phone, I don't know, a couple years ago, I think now, or something. The one I'm recording on. I'm not sure, but he wasn't even programmed in my phone. Yeah, I hadn't talked to him since I got the phone. So I call him because he sent me the text to ask me if I was still interested in his 1969 Firebird, because I would always talk about it. That's what I was trying to get at there was, when I would see him and talk to him, I would always mention that car. I mean, I loved that thing. That was the very first thing I think as a boy I developed a emotional connection to, like you would a girlfriend or something like that. That car was my first girlfriend. Yeah. 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 That car was before girls. Yeah. And I fell in love with it. I loved that thing. I would dream about it. Literally have dreams. When I would go to sleep, I would dream I'm driving it. I have some girlfriend, things like that. Really just in love with that vehicle. Yeah. That's the first car I can honestly say I fell in love with. And it wasn't even mine. Yeah. It was just awesome. It was awesome. I would see it in the garage when he was working on it. And, funny thing too, the only thing I really remember about him and that car, I mean, him driving it and me hearing it and things, but whenever I would sneak around the corner and see him in the garage with it or something, I'd walk over there and he'd always say, "Don't touch it. don't touch the car, you know. And I can imagine, you know, he's 16 years old, 17, 18, whenever I would do that, uh, it was his pride and joy, and he didn't want it, you know, banged up or scratched or whatever like that. And I get it, you know, I get it. But I just remember it was like off limits, you know, to me, the little kid, the little brat running around. Yeah, off limits. Get away from the car. Yeah. Which kind of maybe, you know, even added more mystique to it. You know, it was something I really couldn't get a hold of. You know what I mean? But I loved that thing. Loved it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'd probably do the same thing. Some little kid comes running in there, you know, hey, take it easy. Yeah. No, don't need anything happening to this car, you know. So anyway, so he asks me, you know, on the phone if I'm still interested. And I say, of course I am. Of course I am. And he explains, you know, they live up here in Wisconsin part-time now, and they're down south most of the time, and things like that. You know, I won't get into too much detail. It doesn't really matter, but eventually they're going to sell the place up here and be full-time down there. They're both retired. My aunt and uncle are both retired. They have been for some time now. And, you know, he's just cleaning up stuff, and he's got too many things. And he expressed that he would have liked to keep the car in the family, you know, but they don't have children or anything like that. And he remembered that I was always mentioning the car whenever we seen each other, and I said, yes, I'm interested in the car. So, and that was Sunday, and I said, okay, so how's 1 o'clock Saturday sound, which had been earlier today, last Sunday when I was talking to him. He said, yeah, it works fine for him. They're retired. So I am giddy all week long, you know, and we got to talking a little bit, and he said, you know, I asked him pretty, you know, kind of vague questions or whatever, because, I mean, that car, it could be in any condition. I mean, I'm interested. That was my first love in a vehicle, you know. And like I said, I didn't even own a thing, but yeah. So, you know, so he proceeds to tell me it's not streetable right now because the brake booster is bad, so it doesn't have brakes. So, but he's got it at the shop there, and all I got to do is put it on. But I got to take the master cylinder off, and then take the booster off, put the booster back on, and put the master cylinder back on, and then she'll have brakes, and you can drive it. But it's been sitting quite a while. Yeah, it's been sitting quite a while. And don't worry, I'm going to show you it. I took some short video clips of it and stitched them together, and I'll include that in this video, so you'll get to see the car, but I'm just telling you about it right now. But anyways, so I go over there, and jumping ahead a little bit, my aunt said, before I got there, she said to my uncle, you know, be prepared. He might not want the car, and you know, things like that. And my uncle's like, I think he's interested and stuff. Neither one of them knew before today how important, I mean, really how important that car was in my childhood. Yeah, they understand that now because of the conversations that we had today, and you know, me spilling out emotions about my childhood and what my uncle meant to me, and how he influenced me and shaped my interests as a man, you know. Inability to work on cars and be interested in working on cars. You know, he never really showed me anything, you know. Like I said, we didn't have that kind of relationship, but him just doing that stuff. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I think he no, I know he was more influential in creating some of my character and who I am today, more than my father. Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I never told him that. I mean, before today, earlier today. So we talked about stuff like that. Like I said, we haven't talked to each other in a long time, and we don't see each other that often at all. So, and I really couldn't believe all week. I felt it just didn't seem real. And then even when I went over there, we walked in the side of the barn, and he had some things there, and then he showed me her car that was under tarp. And then we walked into the next bay through the wall there, and there was another project he's working on, an old Chevy. And then there was the Firebird. And I lost my breath for a minute. I mean, I hadn't seen this car in, I mean, even longer than 25 years. Because whenever I would see him, he didn't have the car with him. So probably the last time I physically seen the car, boy, when was that? I don't know. Maybe never in my 20s, I don't think. So maybe 18, 19, something like that. Yeah. Over 30 years ago. Yeah. I haven't seen that car in over 30 years. And as time goes on and life goes on, I never forgot about it, but you just accept the fact that that was something at one point in your life. But you're never, I mean, you're never going to get it. You're never going to have anything like that. It's his car, and he'll probably sell it when he doesn't want it, and things like that. So getting that text and taking that phone call was something the furthest from my mind. The furthest from my mind. I'd have never thought that today would go down the way today went down when I went over there. In a million years, no, I never thought there was even a chance of that happening. Because I didn't believe he understood what the car meant to me, first of all. And second of all, why would he then? You know what I mean? Like he would just sell it or something, or keep it, or forever, or whatever. I don't know. It just never occurred to me that he'd ever give me the option of owning the damn thing. Yeah. So I went over there, and like I said, so I seen the car, and just a lot of emotion came over me. It took my breath away, really. I couldn't believe it was right there in front of me. And I'm having the opportunity now to own it. Yeah. So, and like I said, it's been sitting for a while and all that stuff. So he gets in, turns the key, and it cranks, but the battery's not strong enough to turn it over. So he puts the charger on it. I don't know, it must have been like 5-10 minutes. And we were talking a little bit more. I asked him about the car, and I told him, fill my head with the history of it, because I obviously don't know the reality of what happened. When did you buy it? How did you come about it? I mean, he's owned it almost 50 years. He bought it when he was 16. He turned 16, and he bought that car from a woman in the Milwaukee area over there. And he's owned it ever since. Yeah. He's had it since he was 16 years old. Yeah, almost 50 years he's owned that thing, and it's followed him around. And it's when you see it, So it's here's a little something for you car guys. It's a numbers matching. Okay, it's the original engine. He right now the car is a tribute car, so it's got Trans Am hood and spoiler on it, and he put a 4-speed in there, but he's got the automatic tranny that belongs to the car on the shelf, and he's given me all the parts for it too. The transmission and the automatic console, because the 4-speed console has got a different cutout for the shifter and stuff. And a bunch of other things, spare tail lights and some specialty bulbs and stuff like that, and things, gauge package, stuff like that. But trim rings for the wheels, stuff like that. The rear bumper, because he took the rear bumper off. The rear bumper is mint. Yeah, it's just sitting there on the floor. So that comes. But anyways, so he bought it when he was 16 from a woman, used. So he's a second owner. The car was originally green. I'd never seen it green. I seen it blue, but he bought the car, and then shortly after that, he knew somebody who painted cars, so he had that person painted the blue, the midnight blue that I remember. And I think I talked about this a little bit in a VR. Boy, I don't remember whose VR it was now. Like a midnight blue. Oh, a midnight blue. That's it. A midnight blue. Metal flake midnight blue. My uncle, on my dad's side, when I was a kid, little kid, 10, he had he probably still has it, a 1969 Pontiac Firebird painted midnight blue metal flake. Oh. I'll put a clip in here about, I think I was talking about that car. Yeah. Yeah, and a bit about what it meant to me, and I remember it being a certain color and things like that. I'll put a short clip in there. So, yeah. And, but it's black now. He has since painted it black. And I never seen the car black. So, yeah, and he kind of walked me around it, and some mice got in there and ate some of the foam underneath the driver's seat where your ass sits down there, so it's a little more sinky than it's supposed to. But things like that. It's been sitting. It's I would say it's a project car, and I'm willing to do the work, and that's freaking awesome. I love that kind of stuff, but it's not a project car like it needs, years of dedication. Like if I had the time, in one season I could get that car back to the way it's supposed to be. Yeah. So it's in really, really, really nice shape. Yeah, really nice shape. It's solid. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. So if you're still with me, this video is going to be a lot of geeking out, car stuff. Yeah, really talking about, excuse me, talking about the vehicle after I show it and stuff like that. 69, it's the first generation Firebird, okay? 67, 68, 69 is first gen. 70 starts second gen. 69, it's a one model year vehicle. That's it. It doesn't share parts with anything. A 69 Firebird is a 69 Firebird. It's its own front clip, rear end, tail lights are different than 66 and 60, or 67 and 68. 67, 68 share, a lot of parts, or you can get away with sharing a lot of parts. The 69 is in and of itself a 69. Yeah. there's not a lot of interchangeable parts with the first generation Firebird. So the fact that he has some parts for me is awesome too, because not only is it almost, next to impossible to track parts down, but when you do, they want an arm and a leg for it, for whatever it is, right? Yeah. I mean, it's pretty rare. So, and I love the way the 69, it's my favorite Firebird, yeah. It's been that way since I was a boy, yeah. Love that car. Can't even believe I own it, yeah. So he's got some Trans Am stuff on there. It's registered as a tribute vehicle, but if you wanted to go back to how it originally came from the factory, it's just a matter of taking some things off. But yeah. But anyways, yeah, original numbers matching, original motor. It's got 40. It's only got 40. I forgot 40 something thousand miles on it. 40 something thousand miles on it. Yeah. The car is as old as I am. It's probably in better shape than I am. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So I am going to, well, right away, this just cinched up my retirement. I mean, I need something to fiddle with. And I like doing stuff like that. I like working with my hands, and I got my tobacco pipe stuff that I do now, and I got this damn Firebird from my childhood to tend to and care for and be the next steward. Yeah, so it's been a very emotionally draining day for me. It's just something it's just something in life out of left field. I would have never thought in a million years would happen. Yeah, I just wouldn't. And if you're not a car person, it probably sounds maybe a little silly to you or something like that. But if you are a car person, you can probably relate, even if I'm not explaining it quite right. I'm a little bit tired, but what an event like today means to me. Yeah. Yeah. I now own my Uncle Tim's Firebird, 69 Firebird. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. It's mine now. Unreal. 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 I was like 8 years old. 8 years old. By 10 years old, I was fully in love with that vehicle. Yeah. It was my, I said already. Yeah. It's crazy. I was thinking too, I'm kind of glad it happened at this state. I'm not even going to look at the time anymore. I'm really glad it happened to me at this stage in my life right now, because I'm a hell of a lot more chill, and maybe, I would have always appreciated it, but I appreciate it even more now. And I think had this opportunity come along and I could afford it 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I probably would have cut the damn thing up. You know what I mean? Like, did an LS swap, or, it just, probably took it to a point where if I wanted to get it back to original, it would have been a lot of work, because I would just have street modded it completely. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not that it's completely stock. So it's board 30 over. He got rid of the points. It's electronic ignition now. Things like that. Better exhaust system. Yeah. 4-speed. Changed the gears in the rear end. He was saying he doesn't know where the original gears were, but so for those of you who don't know, in the rear end you can change the gears so like you get a better launch, or it's quicker in the quarter mile, or kind of it's a faster around town car, but you wouldn't want to take it on the interstate because at, 70 miles an hour nowadays, speed limit used to be 55 on the interstates, but I mean, if you wound that thing up to 70 miles an hour on the interstate with the gearing that's in there, that engine would be screaming. It'd probably be 4,000 RPMs or higher. You know what I mean? Because it's geared for, a quick straight line, launch basically kind of thing. I won't get too geeky into it, but yeah. So I don't know. It's going to be fun to drive the way it is. But I would imagine eventually, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I might put the automatic back in there, or at least put an overdrive automatic in there. Put the the original gears in it, so I can take it on trips or something. If I'm going to go to a different state or something, I can take the interstates, and it's not screaming the whole way. Stuff like that. But we'll see. I got a long ways to go to where I'm comfortable. I'm going to be taking all the interior out, taking the seats out, cleaning the carpet, making sure, I mean, I looked under there with a flashlight. It looks like a super solid car, but I just want to make sure I'm catching early corrosion or rust, because if you let it go, it just gets more expensive. It's a bigger piece, So if there's little areas that need sheet metal in the floor or whatever like that, I want to take care of it right away. Plus, I got to clean everything up because mice did get in there and stuff. But you'll see the interior is super nice. It's super clean. The doors close. I can't believe the fitment of the doors, the hood, and the trunk. It's like a brand new car. That car is not twisted. The doors don't sag when you open them. And I mean, these are heavy doors. There's 1969 doors. If you've ever owned a car that old, even in the 70s, those doors are heavy. I don't know how heavy they are. What, 200 pounds maybe? 150 pounds? I don't know. They're freaking heavy. When I was 18 years old, taking a door off a car and carrying it across the garage, it's pretty heavy. Yeah. Nope. Opens. You don't have to slam it or nothing. You just close it like a normal door. Clink, clink. It clicks. Yeah. For you old car buffs, I mean, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. He even has shit that's probably impossible to find. The felt, the little, when you roll the window down on those old cars, they have I don't know, it's like a little felt strip there, but it's like little brushes, like a paintbrush kind of feelies. So when you roll the window up, that's what touches the window. Not like today where it's a rubber strip that touches the glass when you roll it up and down. Yeah, this is like felt little feelies. He's got replacement those things. Yeah. I mean, shit like that he's got, Crazy. Yeah, all the glass is good. I open the trunk, inside, the quarter panel, solid. It's all, it's just, wow. It's wow. Yeah. I mean, it's dirty, it needs to be cleaned up. But, I mean, it's going to be a beautiful, fun ride. Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah. I mean, that vehicle pretty much if I was, I don't know what I want to say here, but I mean, to me, it doesn't get much better than the 69 Firebird. Yeah, no. And especially that particular one because it was my Uncle Tim's. Yeah. So I think they were surprised. I know they were surprised to learn and understand how emotionally invested I've been to that car. I don't think they had. I mean, they probably had. Well, obviously, he had a clue because he asked me out of the blue, But I think they would better understand after today exactly what that car means to me personally. Yeah. Yeah. So it's just, I don't know. It's been a crazy day in my head thinking about things. It's brought back a lot of memories that I hadn't thought about in forever. Yeah. I mean, I'm no spring chicken either. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it all flushed back like it was yesterday. Yeah. Hearing it run, feeling the seats. Yeah. It's crazy. All right. So you probably want to see it. I hope I explained that good and, it was a little entertaining. But yeah, I suppose you got to be a car guy, I guess. I don't think you're just if you're somebody that just has no interest in vehicles and, it's just not interesting to you or whatever. Like I say, it may sound a little silly, but yeah, pretty big deal for me. Pretty big deal. Yeah, pretty big damn deal. Huge. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at it. Like I say, it's black now. I like it black. It's fine for right now. Bunch of dust on it and everything like that. Like I said, it's been sitting, but okay. Here she is. Huh? Pretty badass. Yeah. Pretty badass. Yeah. If I was a car, that would be me. Yeah. If you had to say, if you had to choose one car that defined you, what would it be? Right there. You just saw it. Yeah. Never been into those Lamborghinis and Diablos and stuff like that. Porsches. Yeah. All those high-end. No. I've always been a muscle car guy to the core. Yeah. Yeah. And old Pontiacs. Yeah. Oh, so after, like I say, you get older and stuff like that. So after that, um, I had a friend who had a friend in high school who had a GTO. Yeah. And I really liked that car too. Not more than the Firebird, but I've always been I was a Pontiac guy probably till I got into trucks. Yeah. Yeah. In my 20s, mid to late 20s, I started dabbling in trucks. And then by the time I was in my 30s, I really liked trucks. Yeah. Truck guy. And then, that's for a little while. And then I got back into cars. I started paying attention more and liking cars again, But yeah, it kind of molded me as a person to have that interest in vehicles. Yeah. Yeah. In racing and motorcycles. Like I was into motorcycles. I damn near killed myself in 2004. I think I've told that story. Horrific motorcycle crash. Yeah. Flight for life, the whole shit. Yeah. Punctured lungs, shattered ribs, collarbone, thing with your head, concussion, all that shit. Yeah. Bad shape. It was about 3 months, 2.5, 3 months of my life. I don't even remember. I was heavily medicated and people were caring for me and stuff. Yeah. Almost bit the dust. Yeah. Yeah. I was so hardcore. I still had my arm in a sling. This is how stupid I was, really. If you want to know how stupid I am. So I get out of hospital. They released me to go home. And then, like I say, there were some months there where people were caring for me with medication and stuff. But after I kind of came to, I had one of my arms in my sling and broke my collarbone. It was having to heal and stuff. But it was towards the end where I could take it out and be okay. And I went to the motorcycle dealership and I bought another motorcycle. Yeah. Bigger than the one I almost killed myself on. And, wrapped up my sling, put it in my pocket, drove it home. I was living in an apartment at the time. Drove it home, opened the front door, pulled it into the apartment because I moved my kitchen table to the side, and I parked. It was fall, and I parked it in my damn apartment the whole winter. And then the following year, I drove it. But yeah, that's how stupid I was. Damn near killed myself. Didn't learn. But I will say, after that, it was never the same. Yeah. I think I owned that bike 3-4 years until I realized it's not the same. It's not the same. Yeah. A little bit of fear crept in. Yeah. I always avoided, I was a person who really didn't fear anything. Yeah. But after that accident, when I got back on that second motorcycle, the rides weren't never the same. Yeah. And I knew, because I liked sport bikes, fast bikes, wasn't Harleys, not like that. And I knew you can't commit yourself to one of those vehicles if you have any doubt, you're going to wipe out again. You know what I mean? I mean, you have to be on top of your game if you're going to drive those things fast. And there's a few times I scared myself, and I'm like, yeah, that's it. Because the next time I will kill myself. Yeah, I don't have it anymore. Yeah, fear has crept in. Yeah, and thank God for that. Yeah, yeah. A man who fears nothing is pretty damn dangerous. Yeah, yeah. To himself and to other people. You know, I think a little bit of fear is healthy. Yeah. Sometimes, well, in my case, fear will keep you alive. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, that's a whole different thing, but yeah. So this Firebird, yeah, crazy, 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 crazy. I know this is probably getting long, but I'm just hanging out. I'm enjoying this bird's eye, boy. Yeah, so unreal. 69 is an important year, not only because it's the first generation introduction of the Firebird, but 69 also was the very first year for the introduction of the Trans Am. There is no such thing as a 67 or 68 Trans Am. No, the very first Trans Am was released in 69. Yeah. And like I said, it's a one model year body style too, Yeah. Yeah. Which is, cool, but it's really tough to find parts. Really tough. And when you do, you're going to pay. Especially nowadays, you're going to pay. Yeah. You want to play, you got to pay. Yeah. It's all right. I still got some play left in me. Hell yeah. Yeah. Yep. Unreal. I'm sitting here in the garage, got the window open. I'm catching a little bit of cool breeze because it's colder outside than it is in here. I'm listening to the crickets. That's all I hear right now is just crickets. A lot of nights I sat outside of Grandpa's house, my Uncle Tim, where he lived, with the crickets, and he had the fluorescent light on in the garage. I don't know if he even knew I was there, paying attention or whatever. I was around the corner. And I'd hear him, you'd hear the tools clanging, the wrenches, the sound they make and stuff. And he always listened to I thought he listened to cool music, And he would always wear concert t-shirts. Like the one I remember him, like this is how I remember my Uncle Tim in the garage working on the Firebird with the music on in a Boston, the band Boston t-shirt. And he would listen to Boston a lot. And one of the songs, like when I think of my Uncle Tim, even before, just throughout my life, whenever I thought of my Uncle Tim, I envisioned him in his Boston shirt. Maybe he wore that a lot, or I seen it a lot, or I just maybe saw it once and thought it was a cool shirt. I don't know, but where he got the spaceship things with the flames. Yeah. And whenever I hear More Than a Feeling by Boston, it reminds me of my Uncle Tim and that damn Firebird. Yeah. Yep. And I mentioned this. I get a little choked up again. I only mention that because I named that car. To me, that car has always had a name. And I named it Mary Ann. Yeah. I named that car Mary Ann because of that song. Yeah. And now Mary Ann's with me. Yeah. Sorry, but that's pretty fucking cool. Yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. Yeah. Well, I'll let you go. I don't know how interesting this is to everybody, but that's the story. That was the teaser with the phone call. Well, it was actually a text that turned into a phone call. It turned into me going over there today and bringing Mary Ann home. Yeah. Yeah. Unreal. Unreal. It just goes to show, you never know. You just never know what life's going to throw at you. Sometimes it's shit. Most of the time it's shit, at least in my life. Most of the time it's shit. It throws a lot of shit at you. Yeah. But every once in a while, you get thrown a bone. Yeah. Yeah. And I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Hell yeah. So I don't have room for it here. I mean, my garage is full of all my toys are big. I just don't have enough room for everything. So I had to get another storage unit in town over here. So that's where the Firebird's going to go for now. And yeah, got my ATV in here, other shit, a couple cars. Got my truck in another storage. And then I got another storage with a bunch of shit that won't fit in my garage. I got 2 more toolboxes, some other tools and shit, stuff like that. Ice fishing crap that I haven't used in a while. And what else is over there? Another ATV is over there, old one that needs work. A couple kayaks. Yeah, a bunch of stuff. Just a bunch of stuff. A lot of camping stuff. I went camping a lot when my kids were little. Took the boys up camping up north and shit like that when they were small. And, stuff like that. I need an outbuilding. I need a barn is what I need. A big ass one. That's what I need. The next house. We're not staying here forever. This isn't our forever home. So someday we'll sell this place and make sure we're set up one final time at the next place. And it'll have everything we want. She wants a pool. I want a big ass building. Well, I think I'm going to pack another bowl. I'll let you guys go, but I'm not done sitting out here. It's been one of those days. Where's my ashtray? Here. It's old Sillam's black. Got my shit in there with my knocker and everything. Makes a great ashtray. Yeah. Still got some dottle in there. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of just a chill hangout. I didn't want to leave you hanging too long. Yeah. But yeah. Good day. Real good day. Yeah. Had a great day. We talked a lot. I communicated to him what he meant to me, even though, we never really had a super close relationship. And nobody's getting any younger. No matter how close or how distant you are with somebody, I think it's important. I mean, I'm being a hypocrite because I didn't do it before today, but I think it's important, crucial, to let people know, what they mean to you, especially when you get into your later years of life, Yeah. It's good for everybody. And you just don't know, You can dream and dream and dream and want and want and want for something. And maybe you're not getting it for a reason. Who knows what that reason is, but you may not be getting it for a reason. But you'll get what's coming to you when it's supposed to come to you, Yeah. And this is one of those situations. Like I said, had I had the opportunity earlier in life, I probably would have just chopped the car up and made it into something that, I don't know. I mean, it would have been fine. I would have obviously liked it, but I would have probably regretted it at this point in my life, right? Yeah. I'd have wished I wouldn't have modified it so heavily, I mean, me with pipes and everything, Can't leave well enough alone. I'm always monkeying with stuff, trying to improve it, Or well, maybe not necessarily improve it, but, sometimes I got strange preferences for stuff, But this car is just like I remember it, and it's the way he wanted it, and that's good enough for me. Yeah. Looking fantastic. Yeah, awesome. I keep saying okay, everybody, but now I'm for real. Okay, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Hope this was entertaining, enjoyable. I really appreciate you hanging out. Yeah. So, hope you had a great weekend. I don't know when I'm going to get this up. Tomorrow, today is Sunday. When the sun comes up, I think I'm going to mow. Yeah. It's kind of dry out there, but it needs to be mowed. So I've been putting it off. We need rain is what we need. We haven't gotten rain for a while. And it's been kind of hot. Well, not so much this past week, but prior to that, it was pretty hot. Kind of cooked everything brown, but it's starting to be a little bit greener in some spots and things. So I think I'm going to mow tomorrow. It's supposed to be ungodly hot. So I'll do that. Relax a little bit in the evening before I start another week of work, So, yeah, hope you all had a great weekend. Have a great week ahead. Yeah, take care of yourselves. And I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.
Well, the clock says it's time to close.